but there was a video you shared of a young woman who was paralyzed with absolutely no movement in her lower extremities, and she had done an experiment with Stemregen. Can you walk us through? It's almost like a little bit of a case study that you'd done in that presentation.
Yeah. So this was a study that we had access to a center in Hawaii that was a spinal cord center.
Hmm.
And you need to understand, in a spinal cord center, there's no treatment. Like nothing is done to treat you. You go there to basically be taught how to live with your problem. That's really what is being done. So in that center, we had access to a number of patients, and 8 of them decided that they wanted to be part of that study. And it was a long stretch. I mean, I did not believe that releasing your own product could really have an effect on something like spinal cord injury, but there was literature. There is scientific literature documenting that by injecting compounds that trigger stem cell release from the bone marrow in a mouse model of spinal cord injury, you can show and document significant improvement.
Mm.
So we provided the product. At the time, it was not Stemregen as it stands today. It was a previous version of Stemregen. It's a product that has evolved over the years and trying to always making it more potent. But we provided this product to these people, and what happened is that of these 8 people, I mean, you need to understand, and I actually almost understand them. Medicine has not done anything for them for years, and now this group is coming with capsules and is telling them that these capsules will change their lives. I think their belief system is just like, they're just not there. So they accepted to do it. 4 of them just did not really follow through with. So we're done with 4. Of those 4, 2 had many times had to go to the hospital for infection, pneumonia, different things like this. And every single time at the hospital, they would take away the product. Don't take that. It's not good for you. So of those 4, only 2 actually took the product all the time. And these 2 saw benefits. So one is that gal. So she had spinal cord injury something like 16 years prior to us meeting her. So you're
Mm.
talking about something that this is not a fresh injury. It's a long-term injury, and where she was is whatever medicine could have done with her. So she had a little bit of movement in her right leg, meaning she could lift her leg from her chair maybe 6, 8 inches, and that was it. No real bending at the knee, lateral movement, nothing like this. Absolutely zero movement in the left leg, and with no physical therapy, so no tension on these muscles. So the joints have all curved, and so she's deformed. She will never be able to walk again, even if she gains back mobility. Anyway, she starts to take the product, and we told them take as much as you want. So she was taking a lot, but 8 months later, she's in her chair and she can lift both legs from the chair, flex them, extend them, flex them, lateral movement. And she heard of this the other fellow. The other fellow that had benefits is somebody who was diving in the ocean, in the sea, at the beach with his kids. And as he's diving one side, the other, at some point he hits a sandbank and he
Mm.
basically pop his neck. So complete paralysis. He could move. We ask him, move your feet. I mean, if you really pay attention, you can see barely like a little movement, almost imperceptible. And that's it. And he could move his arm just a little bit. And a number of probably like 8 months later, he was able to kind of kick his feet, and they would move forward, and they would flap back. And at some point, he says, and let me show you what I can do. So he removes his seat belt, his chair belt, and then he falls forward, and then he lifts himself back up like this. And he said, I can do like 100 of these. And about 2 months later, he says, come and see me in my bed. So he is in his bed, and when you're paralyzed and you regain mobility, the connection is not all like one to one. So he needs a lot of re-education. So that means when you start to contact, flexor and extensor muscle contract together. So it's more a movement where it looks more like a seizures. But he's in his bed, and before everything is flaccid, like no movement, and now the whole body starts to contract like this. So the other gal hears about it, she says, come and I'll show you what I can do in bed. So we are now 10 months in the process. And I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, she's in her bed. She lifts her leg completely up, use the weight of her leg to turn sideways. So this is somebody who had to ring a bell to be turned to avoid bed sores. So she bends, she rotates sideways, then she grabs her leg using the weight of her leg, the strength of her arms, abdominal muscle, pelvis muscle, back muscle. She sits on her bed on her own, and she's able to scoot back on her bed. So now she can hold a book, she can eat on her own. This is somebody who was paralyzed for 14 to 16 years.